2023. No, it isn't. Yeah, no. Start again. So we're just currently between Christmas and New Year. I haven't really done much to the boat at all. I have managed to get home. It's been mighty cold, and New Year's coming up, so New Year's coming up, so fortunately I am able to get home for a couple of days, and good fortune too, because it's going to get very cold over the New Year period. Up here we're talking about -3, in some parts -7, -8 I think. And tonight is going to get a bit blowy. We're talking about winds up to between 30 and 40 miles an hour, I believe. Fortunately, they are coming from the southwest. It's when they come from the west and the northwest is when I don't like it, because that's when the winds come directly onto the starboard side of the boat. So fortunately the winds, the way they're going to come, I hope, is from the bows. So it shouldn't be too bad. It might be a bit noisy, but I'm just going to go and tighten up the lines. So hopefully it won't be too long before I can include this at the start of my next episode. Meanwhile, it's just started to rain. Hey ho. I've just finished work, so I actually feel like lighting my stove just to get a bit of warmth into the boat before I go and do my washing up from last night. But tomorrow I will be going home. So 2023, would you believe it? Well, Happy New Year. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions. Unfortunately, I made a New Year's resolution a long time ago, which was not to make any New Year's resolutions. So I kind of got to stick to that. But I think in one of my previous posts, I've said, you know, this new year, 2023, there's a lot going to be happening. A lot more episodes coming up, a little bit more frequently. Yeah, just a little bit more get up and go, I think. I am going to just continue with getting my galley surface sorted out and some kind of shelving, just so that I can store stuff. My problem at the moment is I have no storage, no proper storage area, and that means that everywhere is littered with bits and pieces of insulation, wood, boxes of stuff, and it's just not a very pleasant place to live and work in. So I need to get tidied up so I can be more productive. Oh, well, I had big plans today, but it's all gone awry, because my mobile phone decided that the little socket where you plug your charging cable, the socket has decided to break. So I need to do something about that. So I've managed to take it apart, and there's a little board there that has the little socket on it, and I've ordered one of those for £5.49 including postage. So that's going to be winging its way to me, and hopefully in 3 days time I'll be able to fix it. But it's taken me ages to figure out how to get the phone apart and find the right bit on I think it's eBay I've used. Now let's get back to where I was going to be this morning and doing a little bit more work on the boat. Oh dear, oh dear. So on with some more work. I've got the stove is actually nearly burnt myself then. The stove is actually lit, try and get some warmth into the boat. What I'm going to do is just continue with the sort of galley surface, I guess you'd call it. I'm just continuing with it along this way. So this is going to be the next piece that I put in. And once I've finished that, then I'm going to get some uprights going along here. There we go. So trying not to burn myself. That piece will fit in there. There is a little bit of a gap here and there's gap here, but I'm not worrying about that just now. That will be dealt with at some point in the future. So I just need to do the next bit on. I still have, I need to get the sort of a heat shield around here. Although I'm not too worried at the moment. This bit of wood does get quite warm with the heat from the stove, but I'm not worried about it being a fire risk just now. I never leave the boat with the stove on anyway. Yeah, so I need to get a heat shield put in here all the way around the stove and probably coming up a little bit. And that will also, it will help to keep it clean. Oh damn. Damn. I've cut this the wrong way round. Like an idiot. It doesn't actually... I don't understand how I've managed to do that. I should have cut it that way. But I think I'm going to leave it like that. I don't think it's going to matter. put one in. One in there. One in there. Now I think at one time I was thinking of replacing the screws with dowels so that everything could be lifted out really easily. I think I've changed my mind on that one, and so the screws are going to stay. I think it's okay. Now, I haven't made my mind up yet as to how I'm going to do this, but what I'm wanting really is to finish off the whole thing by putting boards up against the side and coming up to about that level up there. I don't know whether you can see that. I might have to reposition the camera. Yeah, so I'm wanting to board it across here up to about that level at least, and then once the boards are in place, then I'm wanting to attach some shelving. Now, to attach the boards, there are already some handy little holes drilled here. I want to avoid drilling holes in the steel as much as possible because it's hard work and I tend to break quite a few drills, so I'd rather not. Plus it's a messy process, you get little bits, shards of metal everywhere. Anyway, so the idea is I will have blocks of wood. There's a hole just here where my finger is, so I can have a block of wood, maybe not quite this size, but that will be screwed in through the hole, and then I can attach my boards to the wood. Don't worry, it'll all work out. That's what I keep telling myself. So I was thinking of having this boarding just going this way, but I think it will actually work better if I get this out of the way. Now these pieces are actually too short, but I'll give you the idea of what I'm saying, is to have them going this way, and I will cut them to length to there, so they'll all be coming up to the same height. And what I'll do is I'll have a little batten going across here. That will screw into these wood pieces that I put in. I've got 1, 2, 3 here. I'll have to do something more fancy down this end of the boat because there aren't the holes already drilled, so I'll have to, probably will have to drill a couple of holes into the steel. So the batten will go basically across here, screwed in to these, and then the uprights will just fix onto the batten, and then I'll have something at the bottom to hold them in place as well. And I think that will work a lot better. and that's a lot longer. Try not to burn myself as I do this. Oh. Whoops, lovely warm stove anyway. That'll be okay. So that noise, if you can hear it, I'm sure you can, is the standby pilot boat. Where they start the engines up probably once a week, and it'll run for about 15-20 minutes sometimes. So I don't mind it too much. I think there's one or two people not keen on the idea. Disturbs their afternoon nap on their yacht. Yeah, I like it. So this is as far as I've got. I think this will be it for tonight. So I've got 4 of these panels. They're not fixed in place yet. The idea is, if I can do this without disturbing the camera, there'll be a piece of plywood going across the top here, and that will actually fit and recess in. And then I'm going to fit some shelves, which, how can I illustrate that? I can't really, but if you imagine shelves, they'll be a bit deeper than this. They will fit on here, and then where these boards don't meet, it's something it's just the way it's had to be to get it to fit. So between where there's a gap in the board, once the shelves are fitted, then I've got some thin strips of wood which will just cover that. The whole lot will be all fixed together, and then these boards will be fixed to the batten at the back, and then there'll be a piece of wood along the bottom which will fix them in place with a couple of screws. The idea with that being that just by removing a few screws I can take the whole lot off intact to get behind. Right, so tidy up time, I think. Oh no, like a silly person, I forgot to fill my thermos earlier today, and I really would like a cup of coffee just now. So, well, I haven't got a kettle, but I have got this steel mug, and I really want a cup of coffee right now. keep me going for another hour or two. So this is why I don't get much done at the moment. I don't know whether you can see, but it's quite cold on the boat. I've lit the fire. It's been lit for about 20 minutes. It's just started to get warm, but if I go sort of 6 foot away from the fire, the temperature is really, really cold. I've got a fan on, which I'm sure you can hear. That is blowing fresh air into the boat, and that is to try and prevent my wood stove from smoking, because I've got the air vent at the bottom of the firebox opened up to get a draw to get the flames going, but when I do that it starts smoking, so I'm beginning to smell like a kipper, and some people would probably say you're beginning to look like one. But when it's like this, I just don't feel for doing anything. And I've got a day off tomorrow, but the temperature is going, I think we've got a maximum of 3 degrees centigrade and a minimum of minus 3 degrees centigrade. So I will try and get some work done. But it's going to be so hard to get motivated, and that's my problem. So any comments you guys have, much appreciated. As much encouragement as possible. I've picked up another couple of subscribers recently, so welcome on board, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for being subscribers. Yeah. Meantime, the only thing I can do is to have a little fermented apple juice. Not too much, mind. It has been getting cold again. There was some wild weather last night, but fortunately it stayed out in the North Sea and didn't really touch us. But it has been cold. It's survival, really. So I have got my stove lit just now. It seems to take a while for the heat to build up, and it never really gets that warm in the rest of the boat. I think probably by this evening I'll be maybe up to about 10 degrees in the boat. So thank heavens I have an electric blanket which keeps me warm at night. As I've got my stove lit, I don't want to waste the heat that's in the oven part of it, so I've got rather a massive potato here. I don't know how long that's going to take to cook, but I thought I've only got these 3 potatoes, so I'm going to stick these in, and these will either help with a meal tonight or tomorrow, the day after. I also just wanted to mention about what it's really like when you're trying to work on a project like a boat, and not really getting very far with it, due to there's lack of finances is one, and the other one is just the conditions. And it does seem to affect me in that one day I'm quite optimistic, and I can see, yes, I'll do this and I'll do that, and this will work out fine. Might not look pretty, but it will be functional. And then the next day I will be right down in the dumps, and I'll be thinking, this is just never going to happen. As soon as this weather starts to improve, there's going to be quite a dramatic increase in the amount of work I'm doing on the boat. Wood is my main problem, is getting hold of wood, which is it's the wood I'm trying to use is not the best, and it's still expensive, but it's a lot less than the wood that I really should be using, which would be marine ply. But if I'm having to use that, then you might as well forget the whole thing. I have plenty of offcuts, bits and pieces of wood around, so I'm just really, it's just waiting for the weather to warm up, the boat to dry out, because there's no point fitting more and more wood because it needs painting. I need to paint this wood at some point. So I'm determined to do something today. We're in the aft cabin. We're facing forward. I'm going to take all this lot out of here, and there's a surface underneath here which I'm wanting to put insulation on, and this just needs trimming back, and then I'm going to put insulation on the underneath just in here, and there's a panel of wood at the back here. I have an alternative use for that panel of wood, so that's coming out, and that's going to be replaced by some other wood. Forgive the silly hat, but it is cold. I may have mentioned that once or twice already. Yes, it's my advancing years, you know. I have to keep repeating everything. So you can see a little bit more what's going on here. The little old brown thing with a black tube coming out of it, that is the exhaust. So that's going to stay exactly where it is, because the exhaust outlet is just around about that level. So I've trimmed off that bit of insulation, so you can see, well, you can't see it, but there is maybe you can actually, just here you can. This is the bit I need to apply some insulation to, and it runs all the way along here, and it goes up a little bit there. It has had condensation on there, so it is wet. So before I can fix any insulation on there, the surface has got to be dry. So I'm going to have to use a fan heater. I don't like to use this fan heater because this costs me, on its lowest setting, at the current marina rates, it costs me 60 pence an hour to run. But I can't put work off anymore. I've got to do something. So on it goes. And what I am anticipating that will do is to dry the surface out, so at least I can get some insulation on. That bit is going to be a little bit more difficult to get to. This was really, I only put this on to stop the cold drafts coming through. So this will come down. Get some insulation across the back bit here. Just turn the camera a bit. Yeah, insulation here, and then ideally, if I've got time, I want to panel or put some kind of wood all the way across there. And then I'll just have a little box with an access for the exhaust. I'm pointing over there. Yeah, you can see it. This is coming down. Okay. I've got a lot of boxes down here, which makes it a bit difficult to get to. Now, not the most comfortable of positions to get into, and I think no, it's all right. So I am getting there slowly. With a bit of luck, yes, that fits pretty well. But I think there's still water up here somewhere. Is it damp? Oh, maybe not. I thought it was damp. Now, I do have a window open. Which way around was it going? Yeah, that way around. When you use this spray stuff, it's important to just leave it for about a minute, I think, and it will really stick a lot better. The problem is, even though I've got a window open, it stinks, and so really it limits the amount of time I can be using this stuff. Actually, this is quite a comfortable little position. Quite nice here. I've had a problem also. You can see there's a wire going up to the deck head there. Where it goes through, it obviously isn't watertight as I thought it was, but I can't do anything with that until we have a dry day. At the moment, I've got a tub upturned on the deck covering the connection box, and I am hoping that that will prevent any further drips of water getting in. This stuff's ready to go on, I think. another piece. Oh, I can't get up now. So you are now looking aft, and I am in the aft cabin. I've done a fair bit of the sticking and gluing and stuff, and I think by the looks of it, anywhere else that I need to do needs to be dried out. It's still got drops of water on it. So that, I think, will probably have to be tomorrow's job. Whether I blank this off tonight, I don't know. I shall see. But again, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next episode.